everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play of Tyranny. Last episode, we resolved a little court issue for Tunon. He was curious about our opinion on the matter. We were a bit lenient and exploited a slight loophole in the law, which Tunon wasn't necessarily pleased with, but we didn't lose favor, just earned a bit of wrath. Now... And we also spoke with the three Fatebinders here. War, Balance, and... I don't know, but he seems the mage type. And now, well, it's time to speak with the representatives of... Well, first, the Disfavored. Let's start with the one we know, Sevius. Anything beats a prolonged siege, eh, Fatebinder? Enjoy the war while you can. Oh. Didn't think you'd make it out of that pass alive. You've done well for the Legion, Fatebinder. Fatebinder, the lieutenant gives you a curt nod. I'm ill at ease in this polished hall, but I admit that it's a reprieve from the battlefield and training grounds. If Ash needs me to stay here and represent his interests throughout the occupation, then I'll be up to the task. Oh. It can't be worse than our days in Lethian's Crossing. Joking aside, you were generous to grant the Disfavored control over the city. Even the Iron Legion needs a break from the front every once in a while. I gained an achievement, probably for Favor 5. And we gained a new reputation ability. Favor of the Fatebinder. Grant a damage absorption shield to the target. Ah, useful! Patronus, thank you for granting control of Lethian's Crossing to the Disfavored. Okay. I guess I could have spoken to them at the end of the last episode, instead of cutting it short. I would have expected more conversations. I'd immolate you right where you stand if it weren't for Tunon breathing down on necks. He ignores you with a stern and distant expression. Fatebinder, you're no stranger to Tunon's court, but I prefer to spend as little time here as possible. In spite of these closed walls, I feel strangely exposed. He glances up at Tunon. Fair warning. When you backed Ash, you were as good as signing your death warrant. But we shouldn't discuss such matters in a court of law. You'll make our time in the Tears an interesting one, won't you? He smiles for an uncomfortably long time. Of course you will. And our favor with the Scarlet Chorus went down to 0. For choosing to fight alongside the Disfavored at Vendrian's Well. A pity. Merciless would have been good to have. Maybe not Visage of Terror. Maybe we'll end up getting Scarlet Skin. Oh well. We'll see if we can improve things later. For now, I believe we are done. We've already spoken with Lady Lucretius, so I think it's time to leave. Oh, wait. Welcome back, kid. Amusing as it would have been to watch the edict drop, I'm glad you lived. Leaden Mark, Archon of Shadows, rouses from a faraway stare, turning to face you with a wry smile. Though he stands still, he seems to sift in and out of the shadows that shroud him. Heard you threw your rings on Graven Ash's side. Not a bad bet to pick the Archon of War. But tell me the truth. Did you go with Graven Ash because it seemed like the right thing to do? Or because supporting the Voices was a worse option? Neither Archon was at their best, but Graven Ash is the more capable warlord. The Disfavored are nothing if not blindly devoted to their general, and though few in number, they are surprisingly difficult to kill. I don't have to like it to understand it. We both have our ways for turning the tides of war. All that matters is that the Edict of Execution was stayed. Those stationed at Vendrian's Well should be thanking you for their lives. Now, I assume you're off to go meet with Ash, but first, you and I need to have a little chat. I'm listening. Everyone's keeping an eye on you, because you did something nobody has done before. Got a guess as to what that might be? I'm the first Fatebinder to awaken a spire of the old walls. You're not wrong. That was definitely a shock, but I doubt it's the sole reason you've made the tears tremble. Proclaiming an edict isn't new. Neither is surviving or resolving the commandments of an edict. But you're the first to proclaim and resolve the very same edict, and it didn't kill you. In one fell swoop you survived your second edict, resolved the very one you have proclaimed, and woke an arcane structure that had slept for several centuries. And now I go on your short list of people who stand out as potential problems? More or less. Mostly more. He offers you a dangerous grin. I don't care what you do with the information, but you should know the danger you're in now that you've put yourself on the map. Sticking with the disfavored is a smart idea, kid. At least, smarter than getting mixed up with the Archon of Secrets. You'll never really be one of them. But if you value Ash's warriors, they'll serve you the best they can. Thanks for the advice. The Archon of Shadows shrugs to you in farewell, but his golden eyes are alight with interest as he watches you.
Will do.
Can we still speak with him? How about a little breathing room, kid? So now we have gained some favor with Bled and Mark. Pleased by your sly ways and your cunning ways. Well, I have pleased him. The voices of the rat hate us. Graven Ash practically loves us. I don't know if I'll ever get on Ash's good side. Tunon really likes us, but also a little displeased with us. I'm happy with the disfavored, not with the Starlight Chorus. But anyway, let me see here. Let me look again at our quests. Stirring Vision is something regarding the Lethian Crossing Spire. The Weight of Aegis is regarding the Forge Bound with Barak. Into the Maelstrom is Graven Ash's attempts to pacify the tears, and Trial of Archons involves speaking with both of them. So where can we go? Let's see. We can go to Iron Hearth, or we can go to Sunset Spire. I'm curious about these spires. No, I don't want to actually travel there. This massive fortress is perched atop the edge of a tier that helps form the Blade Grave's northern border. Graven Ash took the ancient castle during the conquest, and now launches all disfavored operations from this well-defended location. We could go there, or we could go to Sunset Spire, which immediately goes to Lethian's Crossing. Built in the shadow of an old wall's junction in the realm of Haven, Lethian's Crossing is a growing trading settlement. The nearby rivers are rich in iron ore, though the locals lack the technology to smelt and forge the element. In the years following Kyrus' conquest of the Tiers, the population of Lethian's Crossing swelled with refugees fleeing the destruction of their homelands. The presence of the forge-bound mining the iron, along with their guards, makes this makeshift settlement a vital resource for Kyrus' armies. In the year 429, as governor of Lethian's Crossing in Kyrus' name, you granted control of the settlement to the disfavored. Which do we go to? I am curious about these visions. It is possible. I want to investigate this vision, then we'll go investigate the Archons. So let's do so. I'm curious about Sunset Spire. To Lethian's Crossing. Ambush! A group of mercenaries, members of the Bronze Brotherhood, are blocking the path to Lethian's crossing. Well then. Let's see what happens here. Do some exploring as well, get a lay of the land.
Sorry, I can't. Sorry, I can't.
Can't really get anything there. There's a camp there. There's some raiders. See how this fight goes. Welby. A tall woman stands here, surveying the area from a small overlook. She glances at you and immediately goes back to watching her surroundings. Welcome to Ironhaul Trail, Fatebinder of Tunon. She salutes you. My name is Welby, first axe for the Bronze Brotherhood, though I'm not sure that title matters anymore. She pauses to gather her thoughts, then opens her mouth to continue. Instead, she exhales softly and shakes her head. Never mind, you needn't be burdened with my problems. While I appreciate you coming to me before speaking to Raitamon, you will need to be careful. He has of late been acting out of sorts, and any perceived slight can become a problem for the one who offends him. Choose your words with him carefully. What can I help you with? How could talking to you offend Raitamon? You chose to speak to the first axe before speaking to the actual first brother, the bodyguard before the leader. How could this mean anything but collusion and treason? I know I speak out of turn, but I only wish to warn you. Tread lightly again around Raitamon. Tell me about the Bronze Brotherhood. We're mercenaries, plain and simple. I'm not going to pretend like it's anything more. While it's true we have, in recent years, been a little more stationary than your typical crew, it doesn't change the fact that our services can be purchased if the price is right. We both know full well that the rings that the voices gave us were the only thing that brought our allegiance to Kairos when the Overlord turned an eye to the crossing, even if our thanks for helping was to be thrown from our homes. She contemplates you for a moment. Not that I hold any ill will toward you for it. Decisions have to be made, and there's always someone who must pay the price. I just hope you realize some people don't like being asked to pay. Raitamon will try to sell you on our long and noble traditions like we're some kind of altruistic saints who can do no wrong, but that story is as old and smelly as Grandma Beastman's tail hairs. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to take a job that doesn't seem right to me, but a ring's a ring, and I will go where the money leads me. One point Raitamon and I will agree on is this. We did a job for Kairos, but we were not treated fairly. The Brotherhood is strong, and we have the numbers. We will fight to the last man. I just don't agree with Raitamon's methods. What does it mean to be First Axe? I wish I knew, Fatebinder. The First Axe protects and consults with the First Brother. I am supposed to be Raitamon's advisor, confidant, and guard. Lately his behavior has become erratic. He's acting paranoid, manic, and distrustful. My duty as First Axe is to protect the First Brother, but I'm also sworn to protect the Brotherhood, and if that means the removal of Raitamon, so be it. He has too many supporters in Lethian's Crossing right now to speak out against him. What do you think has happened to Raitamon? Honestly, I couldn't speak to the cause. The stress of leadership, the battles with Kairos' forces, his night in the Old Walls? When you decided to remove the Brotherhood from the Crossing, it certainly set him off. Doesn't matter. His behavior is endangering the Brotherhood, and he must be stopped before we are destroyed. I fear people will be hurt by far more than a simple toll. How would you run the Brotherhood? I wouldn't waste time and resources on petty vendettas, that much I can tell you. I like battle, and I like rings, and with the Brotherhood we used to get both regularly. Now all we have is fear, suspicion, and blood. I want the disciplined regiment back, and I intend to have it. While I may agree that we were treated unjustly, Raitamon's methods for obtaining restitution are despicable. True. Acting like a child when you don't get what you want is not the behavior of a leader. Except in this case, the child is in control of an army capable of laying waste to his home. I could make certain comments, but I shan't. That's all for now. By your leave, Fatebinder, and be careful. Noted. Beware him. Lesser Sigil of Cyclical Energies. Interesting. interesting. This is... What does this core do? Accent do? Recovery sigil. Ah, this improves recovery. Is there anything I would like to try improving recovery for? I don't think there's anything I'd be able to, really. It adds 10 to whatever I do. Titan's Touch could. But I don't think it's really needed. It's only 4 seconds. Not really needed. But hey, we have it. Okay, moving on. You must be joking. A toll? I will pay no such thing. I demand to be let through. Sorry, no one passes through without paying. A small figure stands before some armor-clad soldiers. His arms move wildly as he gestures in frustration, yelling at the man directly in front of him. Absolutely not! I've come through Ironhaul Trail more times than I can remember. No one ever asked for a toll before, and I won't be paying one now. He notices you standing nearby and turns to speak. Fatebinder, surely you, of all people, can help me. My name is Aster, and I must get to Lethian's Crossing. I have goods to deliver. Tell this man I will not be paying a toll, to him or anyone, and he is to let me through. He folds his arms over his chest and nods with a pronounced finality. Greetings, Fatebinder. I am sorry you have been drawn into this. What you've stumbled into here is merely a conflict of the changing times. I am Will of the Bronze Brotherhood. Ironhaul Trail is under our protection, and anyone passing through must obey our rules. If this gentleman would like passage through our land, a simple donation is required. He holds out his hand. These funds help our cause and keep Ironhaul a safe place for all travelers. Clearly, you both can see the value in that. Aster speaks, his arms swinging about again, emphasizing his words. And who exactly is keeping it safe? You, standing here with your weapons at the ready against me? His arms drop and he turns to you again. I'm not but a traveling merchant. I have no money to spare, and I certainly pose no threat to anyone. Keep this area safe indeed. He points at Will. You are the only threat here. Fatebinder, please talk some sense into this man. I have not been told any laws regarding this sort of thing. Here is a payment for the merchant to pass unharmed, for now. Oh, thank you, Fatebinder. You have done a great deal of good today. Aster bows dramatically. He turns back to the soldier. And you, brute, move aside and let me pass. Will makes an exaggerated flourish and moves out of Aster's way. But of course. He raises an enormous hammer and stops Aster, pressing it against his chest. Though, merchant, do be sure to have some rings of your own up for your trip back. I doubt your friend here will be around to pay your way through these lands twice. He smiles, moves his hammer, and gestures for Aster to continue. Will returns to his position and looks you over, his former genial mood gone. So a Fatebinder in our little corner of the world. Who'd have ever thought this would happen? He spits between his feet, then crushes it into the dirt with his boot. While I appreciate your help dealing with that merchant, I'm afraid I can't let you pass until you have spoken with our leader, Raytamon. Personally, I thought he was crazy saying you'd be visiting Lethian's Crossing. Looks like I owe him a few rings. He shakes the pouch around his neck, making the rings jingle inside jingle melodically. Not that there's a shortage of those out here. What can this humble servant of the Brotherhood do for you, Fatebinder? And don't ask me to let you through, because that isn't happening. This ridiculous piece of mercenary offal requires a lesson in pain and obedience. Allow me to teach him. If you think you can handle him, can get him to move, do it. So, Sword! Attend me. I take it your responsibilities have been explained to you. Keep the rabble on this side of the bridge, yes? That does not preclude taking orders from your betters. One of two things will happen. Either you will let us pass, or we will simply pass. There are no other options. Whatever role you have taken upon yourself to bar our way has already failed. You succeed only in delaying our task and annoying me. Is your name Raytamon? Are you the leader of the Bronze Brotherhood? He cups his ear to listen. No. I didn't think so. Because he decides who crosses and who doesn't. If you have a problem with that, take it up with him. Ash, forgive me, but I can only endure so much of this fool's inane jabbering. A blur of rusted metal precedes a deafening crunch as Barrack backhands the mercenary, leaving a significant mark behind. Will rubs his cheek. Hold on, I'm just doing my job. I apologize if I offended. Raytamon will have my head if I let you through. There's nothing I can do about it. While you are talking to Will, a striking man with a shock of bright blonde hair approaches, moving away from some men searching bodies of slain soldiers to the south. He watches you intently as he closes, his angular features pulling into a look of disdain. And here's the Fatebinder. He doesn't mark the displeasure in his voice. I knew we'd see you. I was just wondering when. One trip to Lethian's Crossing wasn't enough, Governor? He doesn't even mask the contempt in his voice. You had to return when no one asked you to come. Throwing me out of my home wasn't sufficient. Are you here to disrupt my life some more? He looks at his men, who stop to watch the conversation. You aren't done! He flicks his hand at them and they return to their searching. It doesn't really matter why you're here, I don't care. I have more important things to worry about. In case you've forgotten me already, my name is Raytamon. I am First Brother, leader of the Bronze Brotherhood. But I'm sure you already know that. I couldn't help but see you over here, talking to Will and that traveling merchant. Only here for a moment and already sticking your nose where it doesn't belong, are you? I don't appreciate others invading my territory, Fatebinder. I told him he had to speak to you, Raytamon. He wanted through, but I told him no. If you don't give me the signal, the Fatebinder isn't getting into Lethian's Crossing. No one will invade your territory. Raytamon stares at Will for a few moments, lips pursed, then continues as if Will never spoke. Speaking of which, what did Welby have to say? He looks north where Welby stands, watching you both intently. Has she already started filling your mind with lies about me? She and I are going to have a chat soon. I can't have my first act countermanding me at every turn. I know she wants my position. Watch yourself while you are a guest in my land. If you have come to stir up more trouble, we are well equipped, and will not back down in the defense of what is rightfully ours. He sweeps his arm in front of him, gesturing to the surrounding countryside. Welby and I might not always agree, but that is one point we see eye to eye on. If you step out of line, we will both correct you. His eyes narrow and he leans toward you. You are not welcome here. Now tell me what you want, or leave. You would do well to watch your tone when speaking to a Fatebinder. Raytamon laughs hollowly. I care not about Kairos' forces. I've already reaped the rewards of my loyalty, and I will not make that mistake again. You have taken my home, but I will have it back. I won't cower when you raise your voice against me, lapdog. Why are you charging travelers a toll to get through Ironhaul Trail? I don't see how the affairs of the Brotherhood are your business, Fatebinder. Suffice it to say, the funds we receive from our tolls help us keep the lands around Lethian's Crossing safe. We are owed our dues, and we shall have them. Tell me about the Bronze Brotherhood. We are a humble group, with noble, long-held traditions on the side of right and honor. Raytamon's voice fills with pride. If there is an injustice that needs to be rectified, we are called. Sounds like you're upstanding citizens. Yes, we are, Fatebinder. Raytamon's face breaks into a giant smile. I am glad someone finally sees us for what we are. I am tired of people calling us mercenaries and sellswords. So we get paid for what we do. We need to live. Tell me about Welby. He shoots a look to the north. I had such high hopes for her as my first ex. The continued success of the Brotherhood should be the single most important goal for anyone who is a member. She seems to have forgotten her place. She is not the head of this band, I am. If she doesn't stop overreaching, I will have to replace her with someone who knows how to obey. Why is Lethian's Crossing so important to the Bronze Brotherhood? We were asked to do a job and we did it. Then what happens? You throw us out of our home! He makes an emphatic gesture to the north, toward Lethian's Crossing. By all rights, that city is ours, and suddenly Kairos wants it. Well, I intend to get it back. I refuse to let this matter die. We protected the crossing for years, and even ensured Kairos' forces could do business here when the rat asked us to. No, we did the job we were asked, and this land belongs to us. You said you don't do it for the money, but that's why you're fighting over Lethian's Crossing. I don't appreciate your tone or the implications of what you're saying, Fatebinder. Ratemon's eyes are hard and his voice is flat. This is a mere matter of principle. We performed a service and we were paid for that service. Don't try to glibly explain away a complex situation. This is our home. This is my home. I will have it, no one else. Now, if all you came here to do is insult me and mine, I would suggest you leave. I'm not welcome in your land. This is not your land anymore. Such arrogance is the precursor to a mighty fall, Fatebinder. I might not currently have control of Lethian's Crossing, but we both know possessions are fleeting. Lethian's Crossing is my home, and your imagined control over our lives doesn't change that fact. I need to get to Lethian's Crossing. Ratemon looks at you with an incredulous expression. Absolutely not! You must be crazy if you think I'm letting a disfavored sympathizer through to consort with my enemies. Who knows what plans you would make to undermine my authority? He crosses his arms over his chest. You have some nerve, Fatebinder. First you have me thrown from my home, and now you want back in so you can come up with an even worse punishment. Let's talk about something else. We will speak again soon. I certainly hope that isn't the case. So now we have a new reputation, Lethian's Crossing. No, not Lethian's Crossing, Bronze Brotherhood. So, Mighty Blows is something we'd get. Extra melee damage would be nice. An Aura of Rage, a life-steering aura. Ooh. But there's also Wrath here, which we're going towards. In combat, prevent unconsciousness for a short time when you would be defeated. Interesting. And Intimidate, overpower a foe with your intimidating presence, terrifying them. Hold on. What can this humble servant of the Brotherhood do for you, Fatebinder? And don't ask me to let you through, because that isn't happening. If you don't feel like paying the toll, I can point you back the way you came. If you need an idea of where to go, because I can't let you through. So my station means nothing. Out in the middle of nowhere? No. Your station means about as much as a whore to a eunuch. He holds out his hand, palm up, and taps a finger in the middle of it. Money is what matters to us. He stops, paling slightly, and touches the red spot on his cheek. Again, no offense intended. Those are the rules Ratemon set. I'll pay the toll. He reaches for the rings and stops short of taking them and lets out a giant sigh. No, you'd better speak to Ratemon. I'll catch the bad side of a beastman's claws if I let a Fatebinder through without an audience.
Yes.
And Ratemon is over here. With his men. So it seems our decisions are as they are. Still around, Fatebinder. I hoped you had decided to move on already. Now tell me what you want, or leave. What is so important about these bodies? They are some of Kairos' army who wandered too far from Lethian's Crossing. He spits on the closest body and makes an obscene gesture at it. I will sleep well when they are all dead and in the ground, the only place they're worthy to be. But if they choose to break themselves up like this, it will only make it easier for us when the Brotherhood make our claim to what is rightfully ours. How do you plan to take Lethian's Crossing? Ratemon pulls his head back and looks at you askance. Why would you ask this? Is Welby planning to undermine my strategy? We will speak again soon. Perhaps we should speak to Welby, which we will do before I end the episode. Fatebinder, you have returned. What can I help you with? Why are you forcing travelers to pay a toll? Raytamon will say it's because it's what we're due, and part of me is inclined to agree with him. But if I were pressed, I would say his pride is hurt and he's lashing out. He can be such a child sometimes. She looks quickly at her guards. Just watch yourself around him. He hasn't seemed completely in control of his faculties lately. It's frightening to see what he's becoming. Did you not swear an oath to your leader, Sellsword? I knew that your loyalty was available to the highest bidder, but I never guessed that it extended into treachery. Raytamon's plans can doom our entire troop, and I intend to prevent that from happening. I am loyal, not blindly devoted to someone intent on marching me off a cliff's edge. So, at the moment, it seems if we wish to go into Lethian's Crossing, we'd need to fight. Perhaps we should leave it be, for now, and come back sometime later. We can't get to Lethian's Crossing. We'll come back sometime later, I suppose. For now, I do wonder if there's any change in the spire. I mean, hell, we have these things we can buy regarding it. Which I'm tempted to. Tempted to buy something. If nothing else, I suppose I can just hire Ravo so that we have him. Yeah, what the hell. Hire him. There, we have a recruit. We'll probably investigate some other time in the future. Hide, alchemy supplies, bronze ingot, iron ingot, and a scroll. Maybe we should check in the spire again. I think we'll do that in the next episode, because this one's gone on long enough. Next episode, we'll see if there's any sort of change that's happened in the spire before we head over to speak with Graven Ash. But that'll be in the next episode, so until then, I am Chester44. That is Jason Pendragon, Barak, Verse, and Lantry. This has been a Let's Play of Tyranny, and I shall see you all next time.